Hi, and welcome to our Supermicro Tech Talk. Today, I am welcoming back Luis Garcia, our Director of Blade Solutions. So last time you were here, we chatted about how Supermicro has the broadest portfolio of blade solutions in the industry. So I'm very excited to hear what you have brought for us today.
Hi, Heather. Yeah, thanks. Good to be back. And yes, continuing on that leadership of bringing to market the broadest blade portfolio, supporting multiple workloads, I'm happy to show you 3 new blade servers based on the 3rd generation Intel Xeon Scalable processors. We have a single socket and a dual socket blade server for the 6U enclosure, and a dual socket server hidden under here for, I'll show you later, for the 8U enclosure.
So I know that we talked about the 8U in our last Tech Talk. So what can you tell us about this 6U that I see here?
So the 6U enclosure can hold 10 blades. So because the height of the blade is taller than the 4U blades that go into the 8U enclosure, they have more real estate. So they basically can support a full memory footprint of this Intel chipset.
So you get max memory in a dense footprint. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it is. So this is a single socket 6U server with 16 DIMMs, and it is the SAS model. So there are 2 models, a SATA model and a SAS model. This is the SAS model. And what's great is that they can support the full range of Intel 3rd generation Xeon Scalable processor up to 270 watt TDP with air cooling. So no restrictions in terms of what can be supported. So you get max memory, maximum performance, and maximum memory support in a dense configuration.
So this looks like it can also support GPUs, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So here, this slot, you've got 2 PCIe Gen 4x16 slots that can support up to 2 single width NVIDIA GPUs like the T4, or 1 double width GPU like the NVIDIA A100. So this can support, again, up to 2 GPUs per server node. You can also use those PCI expansion slots to support an industry standard PCI networking card, like a fiber channel card. It would give you access front I/O to that card. This bezel would be removed. So this blade with 16 DIMMs can support up to 6 terabytes of memory with DDR4 3200 memory, and Intel Optane persistent memory is supported as well, so giving you up to 6 terabytes of memory.
That's excellent. So with all that memory and GPU support, it sounds like it'll be ideal for AI, ML, and deep learning.
Absolutely, that's great. So many AI, ML, and deep learning applications use GPU-based servers. So the SuperBlade provides a flexible scale-out architecture that enables growth without having to disrupt your data center infrastructure. So the SuperBlade supports also NVMe drive, which provides the low latency that you would need for complex computational workloads. So the SuperBlade, as you pointed out, it's great for AI, ML, deep learning. It's also great for EDA, VDI, virtualization workloads, all which can benefit from that GPU acceleration while providing the performance you need in a dense, efficient form factor.
So I think customers will really appreciate that. What about a 2-socket server?
All right, let me show you that. So here we have the Intel 2-socket server. And you can see that it supports up to 32 DIMMs. It also supports up to 270 watt TDP CPUs with air cooling. So this, with those 32 DIMMs, it can support up to 12 terabytes of memory for DDR4 3200, including the Intel Optane persistent memory.
So 2 CPUs and 32 DIMMs sounds like a standard rack mount dual processor server.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you get all of those benefits in a dense form factor. You get all of the additional benefits that a blade server can bring, such as shared power and cooling for more cooling efficiency. You get reduced cabling and front accessibility, which makes it easier to service and manage. You get remote management capability. So again, you get all of that performance, the 2 sockets and 32 DIMMs, plus all of the blade benefits. So it's a win-win.
Right. This sounds like it would be great for the financial market, Luis.
Yeah, exactly. And in addition to the memory capacity, going from the second to the third generation Intel Xeon Scalable processors, the number of memory channels went from 6 to 8. Along with PCI Gen 4, that basically means fewer I/O, slowing down the processors and faster processing speed for their big data workload. So financial services are not only interested in speed and agility, but they're also very interested in resiliency and redundancy. So the SuperBlade provides redundant switches, redundant chassis management module, redundant power supplies, redundant fan, which are really just essential for mission critical applications. So, and then all of these at the same time help lower your total cost of ownership. So these attributes not only make it attractive to financial services, but also for enterprise and cloud workload too.
Okay. So moving on from the 8U, you have a 2-socket with you, right?
Yeah, so I've got a 2-socket 8U blade server right here. So this is a half-height blade server that would fit into the 8U enclosure. So it's a 4U height blade that fits into the 8U enclosure. So you can fit up to 20 of these server blades into the 8U enclosure. And I think I went into a lot of detail about that in our last Tech Talk. So similarly, there's a SAS and a SATA model for this. This is really a dense 2-socket platform that supports up to 16 DIMMs, giving you up to 5 terabytes of memory capacity with DDR4 3200 and Intel Optane persistent memory. Now, because of the PCI Gen 4, if you recall from the last time we met, that can now also support the 200 gig InfiniBand option that we have. So you put a mezzanine card for a 200 gig InfiniBand along with a 200 gig InfiniBand switch, and it gives you that peak performance that HPC customers are looking for. It can also support up to 4 25 gig Ethernet switches. So we have a mezzanine card option that can support 2 additional 25 gig network beyond the onboard dual 25 gig network connections that come standard.
So you just mentioned you can fit 20 of these into the 8U. What about top-bin processors?
Good question. So because of the dense form factor, we actually can support up to 270 watt TDP processors, but we would use the liquid cooling option. So using air cooling, we could support up to 220 watts, and then we have an innovative, really cool liquid cooling option that would allow you to support up to 270 watt TDP CPUs in this highly dense form factor.
So liquid cooling, that's cool. No pun intended, Luis. Can you tell me some more about that?
Yeah, so the liquid cooling addresses kind of the limitations of traditional air cooling for getting rid of heat, and it provides an efficient, cost-effective approach for cooling high-density, high-performing system. So it is really cool.
Mm-hmm. So what kind of customers would be interested in this?
We have current customers that span HPC, cloud, and enterprise segments, including universities, semiconductor companies, and cloud providers that are using the SuperBlade to deliver the performance and scalability that they need for their workloads.
So the SuperBlade is optimized for performance, right?
Absolutely, and even beyond that, it's optimized for performance, for density, and advanced networking. So I think I've covered all of those aspects in terms of the performance. You get access to the Intel 3rd generation Xeon Scalable processor. You have max memory footprint on the 6U server blade. You have advanced networking on the 8U with 200 gig InfiniBand and 4 25 gig networks. So it's optimized for performance, for advanced networking, and then of course the blade benefit of shared power cooling efficiency for ease of manageability and serviceability with the front accessibility of the nodes, reduced cabling, and then all of the redundancy and resiliency built into the SuperBlade with redundant switches, redundant management modules, redundant power supplies, redundant fans. So with the broadest blade portfolio in the industry, I think customers can approach Supermicro with confidence that we're going to be able to meet their data center needs.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, Luis, for joining us, and thank you all for joining us at our Supermicro Tech Talk. Learn more at supermicro.com/X12, powered by Intel.